Tsundoku, noun. Language of origin, Japanese. Meaning, the act of acquiring books but allowing them to pile up unread.
Spontaneous human combustion spread across the globe in an event known as the Great World Blaze. 30 years later, society has split into groups sharing a world but inevitably at odds. The Burnish are humans who gain pyrokinesis and are considered a threat to society, while Burning Rescue are the superhero firefighters of the future, saving Prometheus from total destruction. Or at least, that's the view society has. What follows is an adventure into giant city ships, hot-blooded heroes, and the coolest firefighting team since Tamaka Heroes Rescue Fire. Let's open up Animation Beyond Nations, a look at cartoons crossing the globe. With this expansive box set of Studio Trigger and X-Flag's 2019 theatrical visual extravaganza, you'll come back to a classic question. Is it right to fear those that are different?
Comics, games, animation, and a variety of henshin credible superhero shows from Japan. Chad Bonin guides you through the Tsundoku Zone.
Irritating. Way to take credit for our work.
Oh, shut up, you idiot!
Time to find out which one's more powerful. Leo, bring it on!
One of the great joys of being a fan of Japanese animation in recent years is the fact that, well, a significant chunk of society has also become fans. With this in mind, it's not impossible to get theatrical releases in theaters in the States, when theaters are generally safe to attend. That in mind, I've been able to see mainstream efforts like the My Hero Academia movies, tearjerkers like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and one-off Studio Ghibli films like The Secret World of Arrietty in theaters. And then there's Promare, a film that's a vaporwave visual assault for almost 2 hours, one that is so unrelenting that when it's over, you'll want more, you'll want the soundtrack, and you'll just want to watch it again. That's where this collector's edition comes in, stacked with trinkets and special features, but all of this means nothing if the movie's not good. Set in a nebulous near future, advanced firefighting forces use mecha and other super tech to put out fires that both man and Burnish make. The Burnish, a group of Marvel-inspired mutants, if all of them have the power of chamber, are hated and feared by many due to the destruction they rained on the world 30 years ago.
I don't get it. Why would I have turned into a Burnish?
To combat the fires, Burning Rescue is called.
Burning Rescue! Dispatch!
To combat the Burnish, Freeze Force is called in.
Hold it. We're authorized to deal with the Burnish in a fire emergency. That exception gives us jurisdiction.
Guess who judges whether that applies or not? This guy.
The two sides come to clash over jurisdiction, but the movie paints no picture that isn't. Freeze Force are overly aggressive, Burning Rescue are your heroes. This is easily exemplified by the motley cast of characters that assemble Burning Rescue, and all of this seems to be cribbed from other notable works. It's hard not to see a bit of Kamina in our heroic main character, Gallo, nor is it impossible to see Trunks or even a bit of Yoko mixed with Misty in the cast. They're all bright and shiny anime heroes, while Freeze Force are dark and oppressive grunts. And then you have Mad Burnish, the gang of mutants that, as not much of a surprise, turn out to be more anti-heroes than anything. Their leader, Leo, who catches my eye as Remy from Street Fighter 3 more than anything, is the dark leader of the team that wants freedom for his people.
Do you think the government would allow that?
We don't need their permission. All we need is power. And we have it.
It's no big spoiler to point out these two leading men of their respectively heroic teams will have to team up and work together to face a bigger threat. With the fate of the Earth literally hanging in the balance, Gallo and Leo will have to combine their forces to pave a better future for their society. The movie is a visual stunner, painting vaporwave aesthetics over some great usage of CG when necessary, hand-drawn animation when practical. The colors are bright and vibrant, and the whole work shines brighter and is more visually creative than Pixar's 2020 output, for example, and beyond more traditional Japanese anime works that hit theatrical screens, like My Hero Academia. The voice cast is rounded out by a number of classic voice actors, with the easiest to recognize being Johnny Young Bosch, Kari Wahlgren, and Steve Bloom. The latter two I've had the awesome experience of introducing at MomoCon. You guys remember conventions, right? Audibly, the soundtrack is a blast, with some music I'd be afraid of posting on YouTube, but you'll be glad you picked up the collector's edition if only for the soundtrack. Speaking of that collector's edition, there's a few different versions of this release, but the true highlight is the collector's edition. Promare is such an energizing soundtrack that it's hard not to recommend putting some of these tracks into your iTunes collection. Additionally, the collector's edition features a few physical extras. A mini poster, decal sticker, and a copy of the English script are all neat bonuses that you don't see with every anime release, and help show your love for the movie outside of a DVD shelf. Lastly, a booklet includes character bios, interviews, and the like with neat tidbits. Did you know that 2 of the creators first worked together on R.E. Cutie Honey, a great OVA that we somehow never got in America? Or that Pixar helped out a bit, and certain bits are direct homages to Ultraman? Even with a few typos, it's a great addition to go through once. Universally in the Blu-ray, you have a basic selection of trailers, interviews with the Japanese production team, director, and the American voice cast. None of these cover too much ground than what's included in the booklet, but it's always a treat to see American voice cast make appearances in US releases.
My favorite kind of pizza?
Hey, isn't he a Power Ranger? The most notable feature on the disc is 2 short stories that function as a prologue for the movie. Side Gallo and Side Leo look at the early days of Gallo joining the team and how a new girl joins Mad Burnish, and both tie into some unexplained bits from the movie.
He really is an idiot.
You're not going to kill them. That's not the way we Burnish are.
Nice exclusive, these show how a Promare TV show could conceptually work, and only make the lack of one all the more painful.
I gotcha! We'll never let you lay a finger on a Burnish! Count on it, Popsicle!
Promare was an optical delight in theaters with its limited American run, and is truly deserving of a 4K release with full HDR enhancements. While this release doesn't quite hit that goal, it is still an impressive release and, in the collector's edition, a nice addition to your shelf and soundtrack collection. It's great to see what can be done with a theatrical budget and 2 powerhouses of animation. It's over the top, and if that fuels your fire, go to town on Promare as much as Shout Factory has gone in this box set. With a healthy amount of physical and on-disc extras, plus the entire soundtrack as a bonus, this is a great looking and sounding feature needed for any animation fan's collection. That's it for the Tsundoku Zone, but the stack never ends.
This program is brought to you by the support of members of the Tsundoku Zone Patreon. If you enjoyed this episode and have the means, please consider joining to keep the show running and get an inside look on the production.